Well, speaking of dreams, this episode's student guests are representatives of the Princeton Dream Team, a student organization that seeks to promote and protect immigrant rights. They recently staged a large walkout in front of Nassau Hall in support of making Princeton a sanctuary campus. So, please welcome to the stage Soraya Nunez and Carlos Sotelo.
Yeah, Carlos!
So, most of us on campus know you from the Sanctuary Campus walkout in November, which had, what, like over 400 people at it, right?
Yeah, we had a pretty big turnout. We were not expecting such a big turnout, but it was 300, 400 people. It's pretty big.
Gotcha. And at the same time, you were circulating a petition that got seemingly thousands of signatures. I was looking at it just earlier today and has a ton.
Yeah.
So the goal of the petition was a lot of things. It was just for us to call for safeguards and protections for the undocumented community at Princeton, spread awareness of the concerns and issues facing them in the upcoming administration. So those are just two of the key ones.
And I think also something that Dream is trying to push for is for the university to just make it more aware to prospective students as well as current students who may be undocumented, maybe under DACA, that the university has a lot of resources for them. They are need blind when it comes to everyone who considered for financial aid. They don't look at citizenship status when looking at students to accept. So in that's kind of something that sets Princeton apart from a lot of schools across the country right now, in that they're very accepting, but we don't think it's as well known.
So can you explain what DACA is for those in the audience who don't know?
Yeah, so DACA is an executive order that was implemented by President Obama in 2012, and basically it provides deportation relief to people who came to the United States when they were young and who they didn't really get a choice in immigrating from their home country. And so it provides them with an employment authorization card and a social security number, and that gives them the opportunity to be able to work in the U.S. legally and be able to attend school. Otherwise, it'd be very difficult. Say if someone from California got into a school in New Jersey and they didn't have some sort of state ID to get on a plane and immigrate to school in the first place.
Right, so there are a number of students on the Princeton campus who are actually protected by this executive order, right?
Yes, there are.
Gotcha. Now, actually, you really got the administration's attention because like about a week after the protest, President Eisgruber sent out an email addressing the walkout. And although he expressed support for DACA and nervousness about Donald Trump potentially getting rid of that executive order, he didn't go so far as to pronounce the Princeton campus a sanctuary campus, right? So what exactly was your response to that email?
So initially, and like personally, we were very grateful for his support for the program, especially for someone like myself who holds that status. But we thought he could have gone further in terms of he seemed to have focused on the documented population, and we know that there are undocumented individuals who don't have this privilege of the status, and so we're uncertain about whether the same protections will be afforded to the other side of the population. So that was on one thing where we thought he could have done more. And then on the basis of the legality of everything, we know that sometimes words carry a lot of weight,
right?
And so we thought that he could have done more to just have a support in terms of right now that the law he seems in support of the law right now, but under the next administration, we're not sure if the law will be just. And if there's going to be an unjust policy, will he still stand behind it based on the legal claim?
Right.
And so we're hoping for there to be a stronger stance that he will, support the undocumented community no matter what.
Gotcha. Now, so this is actually a nationwide movement that's going on at a lot of other college campuses too, right? So different, like kind of sister brother and sister groups at other schools are staging similar protests, sometimes even on the same day, right? Are you communicating with those other groups?
Yeah, so a lot of the protests happened, I think, in the week after, 2 weeks after the election. And I think it started with the universities in California, I believe, which have a larger population of students who are immigrants. And so it kind of just spread by word of mouth through different activist groups across the country that are in schools. At Princeton, I think we were kind of towards the end of the momentum there across the country, but we got in touch with schools across the East Coast as well, and kind of just talked about. We looked at how other schools had been staging these walkouts and what they had been putting in their petitions, what demands they were making to the administration, what they were asking their presidents to say. And so we kind of just took from that and put our whole thing together.
Nice. So now that Eisgruber has said we are not going to make Princeton a sanctuary campus. Are there steps that you can still take by working with the university to help undocumented students here?
Yeah, so there are various things that DREAM is doing right now. And it's interesting because DREAM has actually been around for a very long time. We have a lot of initiatives. We work with students who are in high school and who may come from mixed legal status families or who are undocumented themselves and are in the process of applying to college. We also work with immigrants in the community who don't have state IDs and who need some sort of ID. We work with the Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund to be able to make those cards for them. As far as what's happening on campus right now, DREAM is holding meetings with administrators. We actually met with them about a week after the walkout to talk about what more administrators can do on campus with regards to not just making sure that students know what resources there are, but also to push to work with the Office of the Legal Counsel, maybe tap into alumni networks that can provide legal resources in the event that something were to happen.
Right. Now, it seems to me that actually a lot of the faculty seems to be on your side, because when I was at the protest, there were a number of deans and other members of the faculty who were in the protest with you and not leading it, because you guys were the ones leading it, but certainly they're showing their support. Have they been helpful at all?
They actually have been. I wasn't there at the meeting, but I believe Soraya actually met with the head of Wilson College, who expressed his support of, there are some very empathetic and sympathetic faculty who are willing to support us and seeing what they can do from then on. But I think what's also missing from this narrative is not just students, not just faculty, have the biggest voice on campus, but staff members and their concerns as well. So we're trying to do what we can to bring them into the fold, and so we've been contacted with them as well. And also the fact that whether you're undocumented or not, you could also have family or relatives that come visit, and they may be the ones who are undocumented. And so we want to make sure that, sanctuary doesn't just mean for the current students, it means for future students. It means when my family comes to visit me at graduation, that they can also feel welcome and safe here. And so, along those lines, we've talked with the chapel about, compiling resources from, there are Nassau Presbyterian Church is one that is designated as a sanctuary church. And so we want to make those resources aware to the student body when, in the absence of university, action. Right,
so the Nassau Presbyterian Church has designated itself as a sanctuary, but the university chapel is not?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. So are there things that students who are not currently involved with the DREAM team, are there things that they can do to get involved?
Yeah, so we actually held a general members meeting about 2 weeks ago because we had a lot of people reach out to us. It was undergrads, grad students, who wanted to get more involved. And so I think that because at this point in the semester things are kind of dying down, we're hoping to have another meeting at the beginning of next semester, kind of just to have people come out and see what different things they can get involved with, just because there is a lot to do in DREAM, both on campus and off campus. And I think something we're pushing for at this point is to be able to continue the momentum that we're doing off campus. We're visiting a detention center in Elizabeth where there are immigrants who were detained. We kind of just go and talk to them. We continue the program with the high school students that we mentor in Trenton, as well as the community ID card program.
Cool.
So we really hope that more students can get involved, because that's kind of something DREAM has been lacking in student participation in the last few years. And I think that in light of the election and the walkout, it helped bring more light to the club.
Definitely. Now, one of the things I found most powerful about your protest was the moment when several stories of immigration were shared to the whole crowd. So we were hoping that you could end the interview by reading some of those stories.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to.
Right?
Hoping you'd never ask. I'll go ahead. Ladies first.
All right. So this was submitted anonymously by a student who is currently at Princeton undergrad. So yeah, I'll just read it out loud. I have chosen to remain anonymous because despite the fact that I am a student at Princeton, there is too much uncertainty in my future as an immigrant with compromised legal status. To those of you who have come out today, thank you. I stand among you in this crowd, and I hope that the words I leave you with today will motivate you to take action and protect not just undocumented students at Princeton, but also the 11 million others in this country who are currently facing the fear of an administration that has spewed hatred and threats of deportation. I am a dreamer. I came to America when I was only 2 years old. My mom left an entire life behind in our home country to provide me with my own here in the United States. However, I am so much more than just a dreamer. I am so much more than the alien number U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service assigned to me. So much beyond labels people have given me: criminal, illegal, wetback. I am the child of a parent. I am a sibling. I am a friend. I am an Ivy League educated scholar, a student with a mind and heart so vast that they encapsulate a love so big it trumps all the hate and bitterness that entered the White House last week. But this isn't just about me. This is about the people who walk amongst us every day beyond the walls of this institution, the ones who have families, children and siblings and spouses, the ones with compromised legal statuses too, but who are too afraid to speak out. Undocumented immigrants from all corners of the globe contribute to American society on a daily basis in a plethora of ways. We work the minimum wage jobs others don't want. Sometimes we have to work under the table too, in order to support our families. We send our kids to school every day and remind them that borders and oceans were not crossed in vain, that for them, education can open the doors that are repeatedly closed in our faces. To everyone who is here today, thank you for coming. Whether someone you love is undocumented and fears for the future, whether you are being directly targeted or whether you are an ally, it does not matter. You have no idea how much your presence here means to me. However, simply showing up to this rally or reposting on Facebook or saying you are an ally will not be enough to stop hate from winning. You cannot call yourself allies if you do not familiarize yourselves with the stories of those who are in danger. You become allies when you go out into communities and you work with the various organizations who fight on a daily basis for immigrant rights. You are an ally when you speak up against the hateful rhetoric that is so casually thrown around. Princeton students that are here, do not believe that because you have shown up, you have done your duty as my classmates. This is only the beginning. Get engaged, get involved. Join the Princeton Dream Team. Attend meetings, help Dream in its various initiatives. Help Dream mentor high school students, some who are undocumented, as they navigate the college application process. Show up to help assist undocumented Princeton community members who need ID cards made for them so that they have some form of identification on them in case they come across trouble. Stop using the terms illegal alien, illegal immigration, illegal. I am not illegal, I am beautiful. I am human. I love as passionately as you do. I have aspirations and fears and goals in the same way that every single one of you here today has. To the Princeton University administration, I say this. You have students in your classrooms whose very pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness are being threatened by the most powerful political position in the world. Do not remain complacent. This is not the time for complacency. Princeton is the #1 institution in the country. Let us show the world that such a label transcends academic character. United, we truly are stronger. Thank you so much for the overwhelming love and support. This community has a lot of big hearts and minds. Let us be an example of what love should look like in powerful positions. And remember, no human being is illegal.
My mother and father taught me the value of education. They motivated me to make the most of my legal right to a public education. And today I am proud to say I'm a product of the K-12 school system that allows undocumented students to fulfill their primary education aspirations. But for too many of us, our aspirations meet what seems to be an impenetrable border as we anticipate high school graduation and ask, what comes next? Surely a shot at the American dream, to seize the opportunities we had worked so hard for. Instead, we ask our parents for a social security number that doesn't exist. By 16, I get taken to work with older undocumented men working construction sites because I am told that is the only viable place for me in this country. Colleges tell me that I'm considered an international student and that there's little to no financial aid for me at most schools. I look back at the depths of my consciousness, yearning for a memory, a recollection of when my feet touched the Mexican soil, but I could not. You see, my parents came into this country when I was 4 months old with nothing but 2 plastic bags of clothes and the belief of a better future for us all. Yet, in the minds of many, our narrative is criminalized and called un-American. Many agree that children shouldn't have to pay for the crimes of their parents, but to me, it's a bigger crime to have a system that grants children an education and tells them as soon as you're 18, if you aren't authorized to be here, you don't belong here. That tells them to go back to your country of origin, that ignores the fact that I spent 2,520 mornings rising from my seat to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. That undermines the fact that my family pays taxes, that creates a broken immigration system that breaks families apart, creating 15+ year-long waits for siblings petitioning for the ones who were born on the wrong side of the border, and a quota system equalizing Mexico with countries less than 1/10 of its size. Broken. The system is broken. To proclaim myself as undocumented and unafraid was a privilege DACA gave me. It allowed me to do the previously unimaginable, to step out of the shadows. Heartbreaking to imagine a future where people remain even more fearful to do the same in the pursuit of their dreams.